It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is CarEdge Live for Wednesday, August 20th, with your hosts, me, Ray, here in Ventnor. Not under flood watch yet, but will be tomorrow. And in Washington, D.C., my son, Zach. How are you today, handsome?
Doing pretty good, Dad. Happy August 20th, everyone. Thanks for tuning in and spending some time with us today. We appreciate it. We've got a sponsor for today's program. However, before we head there, got to let everyone know it's that time of the month back in CarEdge land. Labor less, save more, shop like a pro this Labor Day. We got our end-of-month promotion running, folks. 20% off CarEdge Insights and 20% off our car buying services. So let our team take all of that handiwork off of your hands and let us do it for you. Check it out back at caredge.com. Really excited by that. And obviously, folks, we've been talking more and more about how our AI agents can help you say goodbye to car dealership games forever. You can check that out back at caredge.com as well. Please, folks, we've been doing this for a while now. Very grateful to be able to help as many people as we do. The lead story this morning, Pops, it is the car market crash of 2025 is coming around the corner. Look at the headline that is leading off in automotive news. Dealership execs worry about the future auto market dynamics in confidence survey. Dealership executives' confidence in the automotive industry is negative for the second half of 2025, according to the inaugural Automotive News Auto Industry Confidence Index. You and I are going to break down the data from this survey that they conducted. But I just want to be very clear here, folks. It's not me, Zach Shefska from CarEdge, saying a car market crash could be coming in 2025. You saw the headline right there. These dealership executives and the data that we're going to look at is showing you that there is a weakening confidence in the resiliency of the auto industry. We'll break it down here, obviously, but it's them, not me. It's them.
Well, it's them who do it on a daily basis and realize that this insanity cannot continue unchecked. And so when you survey some of these dealership executives, they've got to be thinking to themselves, okay, tariffs are going to have a negative impact. Prices are going to go up. You know, they're not going up 15, 20%, but if they go up 3 to 5%, 6%, that's quite a bit. Interest rates might come down. We hope they come down, but if the prices go up and the interest rates come down a quarter of a point or a half a point, is that enough lowering of interest rates to compensate for the increase in prices? So, yeah, I would think dealer executives are sitting there going, the rest of the year doesn't look all that good.
Let's look into the data, Dad. Let's break this down for our community because it could mean better shopping opportunities for consumers as the industry faces some pain. Franchise dealers and dealership executives carry gloomier expectations for the broader automotive industry through the second half of 2025 compared with their feelings in June. 56% of franchise dealership respondents said they are either somewhat or very pessimistic about the industry's overall health in the next 6 months. That was shocking to me when I read it, Dad. More than half of those that represent the retail auto industry, franchise retail auto industry, are saying that they are pessimistic, either somewhat or very, about the health of their industry. I mean, that's what else do you need? I mean, is there a car market crash coming? I think 56% of the people that responded think that maybe there is.
Yeah, and you know why they think that? Because they're dealing with customers every day, and they understand the difficulty that customers are having when it comes to trying to buy a car, and they understand the difficulties that dealerships, not necessarily Toyota dealerships, but other dealerships are having when it comes to trying to facilitate a transaction between the customer and the dealership. And if prices continue to go up, at some point, it's the dealerships ultimately that are the ones that are going to take it in the shorts. Now, I'm not here crying for the dealerships, but think about it. I mean, they try and work on certain profit margins. I know, having spent 43 years in retail automotive, that many new car departments are not particularly profitable. In a lot of mass market dealerships, new car departments are the what's the word I'm looking for? The loss leader that they use to be able to bring people in so that they can make money in other areas: parts, service, finance, and insurance. Okay. So it wasn't until COVID that we really saw new car departments become really profitable. I mean, like incredibly profitable. And that's because there was a shortage of cars and prices skyrocketed. Well, we are now at a time where prices skyrocketed so much, and they're going to continue to go up because of outside pressure through tariffs, that it is going to become even more difficult moving forward to keep this train's momentum.
Absolutely, Dad. And let's take a peek here and look at some of the areas where these folks that are operating in the auto industry are saying they're feeling uncertain. You can see here, we're looking at how confident they are in the second quarter versus how confident they think they'll be in the future, their future confidence. And you can see a significant difference here. So F&I profitability, a lot of dealers anticipate that to get worse. Fixed ops profitability expected to get worse. Here you said it, Dad. New vehicle gross profit margins expected to get worse. Used vehicle profitability and acquisition expected to get worse. Staffing levels and hiring environment expected to get worse. Customer financing environment expected to get worse. And inventory availability and turn rate all expected to get worse. This is not one of those mumbo jumbo headlines from CarEdge, boy who cried wolf. I know I come out all the time with hyperbolic headlines, and typically I can pull a thread to connect the dots. This is the industry coming out with a survey, and it is highly pessimistic about what the future holds for them. That, again, for us as consumers, creates an opportunity. If you can time your purchase, again, we always talk about end of month, end of quarter, end of the year. I mean, this is really an opportunity to be savvy and smart as you watch potentially a little bit of a crash happen in retail auto.
But is it really an opportunity? And here's what I mean by that question. If the prices of the vehicles have increased unreasonably over the last 4 and 5 years, in comparison to where they had been, even if there's somewhat of a crash in the industry, are the savings going to be enough to compensate for the excess price increases that we've seen? So that's where you really have to weigh whether or not it's an opportunity. Now, if we think to ourselves that history suggests that prices will always continue to go up, and that seems to usually happen, then we very well might be able to look at some of these things and go, yeah, it's an opportunity. If we think that ultimately there'll just be this massive crash and a resetting of everything, then the opportunity would be after the massive crash. I'm not hoping for a massive crash. Let me just say that. That wouldn't be good for anybody. So I think the industry finds itself in a tough situation moving forward.
I think we see it a little bit right now, Dad, as we head into Labor Day. Justin on our team, I don't know if the guide's published yet back at caredge.com/guides. It will be today. He compiled by hand the best lease deals out there right now. And these manufacturers are stepping up big time from a payment perspective. I mean, Dad, Mazda even increased the amount that they're offering on the Mazda CX-90 PHEV, more money down, but they're now advertising a $199 a month payment for a 24-month lease. So, they're stepping up on the money factor to try and really inflate things, to try and help the consumer. So I agree with you that no one wants to see a major, major crash, because that would just be bad news for the whole ecosystem, the consumer, the industry, everything. That being said, the pain that they are seeing on the horizon is influencing the decision-making they're making today to provide better deals. Speaking of better deals, I want to comment one thing really quickly here, Pops, and then we need to thank our sponsor. No bias in the chat talking about trying to lease a vehicle in Northern Florida. Northern Florida and Florida in general, one of the hardest places in the country to buy cars right now, folks, has been, always will be. Treat me like I work for them. Josh, I freaking love this, Josh. Josh, part of the CarEdge team, one of the concierges that supports our community. Ryan and No Bias, take advantage of the 20% off promotion. No Bias wondering, but do we do leases? We do indeed. And then Josh saying, hey, request me. I'd love to help. No Bias saying, I'm going to take you up on this. Folks, we are active, engaged. Josh, thanks for being here and engaging with No Bias here. But I actually do think that as we head into Labor Day, there's some real opportunities here. And thank you, Josh, and thank you, No Bias. Like, this is what we do day in and day out.
We can help find deals.
We can help find deals. Dad, let's take a second to remind folks what we can also help them find, which is peace and security when it comes to their data being sold online. Folks, data brokers are out there selling your information and anyone can buy it. My dad with a little AI could probably find your phone number, social security number, and home address online. And it's available to marketers, scammers, and all those elusive folks in between. Now, Delete Me, the sponsor of today's program, a partner of ours that we've worked with for over a year, helps you take control over your data. Delete Me removes your personal data from hundreds of data brokers on your behalf. And you can get started today with a 20% off coupon code. It's CarEdge, CAREDGE, or just click the link in the top of the description, joindeleteme.com/CarEdge. Dad, we've both been using Delete Me. I've been using it for well over a year. I think you're up to like 8 months with your Delete Me account. It's just nice peace of mind. We thank them for their continued sponsorship.
Absolutely.
So, Dad, back to the poll here. I want to pull up some more data. Let me get it on the screen. So they also asked these dealers, looking ahead 6 months, how do you expect conditions for your organization in the following areas to change? Inventory availability and turn rate, Dad. Somewhat worse or much worse. 33% of dealers think the inventory availability and turn rate is going to get worse. Now, let's talk about that in conjunction with the fact that 33% of dealers also say new vehicle gross profit margins are going to get worse. What does that mean, Dad? What does that mean that they think inventory availability and turn rate and new vehicle gross profit margins are going to be worse?
Well, I think what these executives are saying is it's not so much inventory availability as it will be turn rate, and the turn rate is how quickly you move your inventory. And I think what they're thinking is that there is going to be a significant slowdown in sales because, let's see, EV sales will probably fall off a cliff come October 1st because the $7,500 federal tax credit's going away. The price of the vehicles will be going up, so that'll make even fewer vehicles affordable for even fewer Americans. I think what their concern is that whatever on-hand inventory they have is going to take longer to sell. And because they feel as if it will take longer to sell and it'll sit for a longer period of time, their costs associated with financing that inventory that can sit longer will go up, meaning that their profit margins on the new car side of things will decline. That's not normally a recipe for long-term success. That's a recipe for better opportunities price-wise for overpriced vehicles for consumers out there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it suggests, Dad. And so obviously there's the concern that these dealers have, and it's showing up in this data. The other areas, Pops, where they're showing concern, used vehicle profitability and acquisition conditions. We've been talking about this for a long time, Dad. The availability of quality used cars is not good, and 21% of dealers think it's going to get worse. Most, 56%, think it's going to stay the same. So it's a little bit of a rosier outlook than the new vehicle gross profit margin and the turn rate for available inventory. But I think this is another area that you and I have been harping on for a long time. You think, however, I want to be very clear that we are going to face challenges here through the remainder of this decade into the 2030s. So it's not like a bubble is going to burst in the used car market tomorrow. There are repercussions that are happening for the next, call it 5+ years, as a result of what happened due to the chip shortage and the pandemic back in 2020, 2021, et cetera. So obviously these dealership executives feeling really bearish on the new car side of things, but they're also feeling bearish on the used car side of things, which makes a lot of sense.
Well, we talked about it the other day where the thought is that 3-year-old vehicles today are a much better bargain than they were 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And the rationale behind it was Well, the spread between what it's selling for today in comparison to what it sold for as a new car
That's the Edmunds
is a
data.
wider spread. It doesn't make it a better value to any degree. It, it, what we're experiencing perhaps is a return to normal depreciation, but we are starting at such a high point that they don't seem to depreciate fast enough so that it impacts most people trying to buy cars.
Yeah, I mean, also KBB just put out this data. Average used car prices actually rose in July. So are they depreciating? I don't know. It's like month to month we see depreciation, then it bounces back, then it goes down. I mean, I think the long-term repercussions of what happened during the pandemic and the lack of availability of new vehicles. What was it? It was like 15 million vehicles globally were not produced during that
Yes,
time.
yes.
That's why used car prices will continue to stay inflated and high, and we will go month to month with maybe some declines, some right, but like generally they're just going to stay high.
Well, what it means is that there were 15 million new vehicles that weren't produced, which translates into 15 million new vehicles that weren't retailed.
Yeah.
And if you assume that 2/3 of people trade in a car, so that means globally that there were 10 million trade-ins that didn't happen on the 15 million sales that didn't happen.
So no
And
wonder dealers have concerns about used car acquisition.
well, and no wonder there is a continued shortage of quality used cars. We know that today the average miles on an average used car being sold today is just a tick under 73,000. Okay. That's probably 25,000 miles more than it had been 4 or 5 years ago. So the mileage is higher, the quality, the condition of the vehicles is a little lower, but yet the pricing is still highly elevated in comparison to where it should be.
A few more data points that give me pause about why there could potentially be a market reset. This comes from money.com. They just pulled some interesting data points together. Only 2 US built models under $30,000 remain. I thought this was fascinating, Dad,
Wow.
especially amidst all that's going on with tariffs. Look at this. Experts say new cars under $20,000 will soon be extinct from the US market, and options under $30,000 are also becoming harder to find. Currently, the Honda Civic and Toyota Corolla are the only US assembled models left with list prices under $30,000. Think about that for a second, Dad. Most of the vehicles priced under $30,000 are imported, and those vehicles particularly tend to come from Mexico and South Korea. Those countries are still being tariffed at the highest rate in the auto business is seeing right now at just 27.5%. Experts say that the average car prices could rise as tariffs cost automakers billions. Automakers, including Ford, have announced price increases for models assembled in Mexico. Only about 14% of new vehicle inventory is priced under $30,000. In the first half of 2019, a pre-pandemic comparison point, 38% of new car inventory is priced under $30,000. So I thought that was fascinating, Dad, because we are out of options, sans two right there, right? That actually are
Yeah.
produced or final assembly takes place in the United States at an under $30,000 price point. You and I have talked about sub $20,000 price point vehicles. In the same breath, we now need to be talking about the evaporation of sub $30,000 price point vehicles.
Well, and here's the scary part. 5 years from now, we'll be talking about the fact that it'll be difficult to find cars under 40 grand. And that's just the reality. Okay. And the other reality is as average prices continue to go up, average loan terms will continue to get longer and longer. Right now, the average new car loan term is like 70.2 months. The percentage of people that have 84-month and 96-month loans are higher than it's ever been. Probably 1 in 5 people today would have a car loan that's 84 months or have
Right
a
there,
car
Dad.
loan. Okay.
22.4% in the second quarter of shoppers that financed a new car went for an 84-month car loan. That's the highest we've ever seen. And it increased from 17.6% the year prior.
And it's only going to get worse as prices continue to go up. So yeah, if you're an executive, if you're an executive at the manufacturing level, and if you are a dealership executive at the dealer level, you have to be looking at all these various and assorted data points and going, how are we going to continue to grow our business? What is it going to take for us to be able to do that? And we know that 85% of the people out there are payment buyers. And you are beginning to see, and I agree with Jerry 100% here, you are beginning to see more and more dollars being put into leasing incentive programs so that we can have we can offer more people affordable payments, because if 85% of the people out there are payment buyers,
Yep.
all they want is a payment that fits in to their monthly budget. And at a certain point, they won't care whether it is a purchase or whether it is a lease. All they'll care about is that it fits. And leasing is the way to do that. And leasing helps you build your used car business, because most leases are 24 to 36 months. So, like in the case of the Mazda CX-90 PHEV, those leases are coming back in 2 years. In most other cases, the leases are coming back in 3 years. So that means that there'll be more 2 and 3 year old low mileage vehicles finally available for the used car market again. That is one of the cures for all these ailments.
Absolutely, Dad. I just wanted to call out here, Jerry, one of the another CarEdge concierge. We make sure it is done right. We provide leasing support, folks, like that. I want to be very clear. So right now, as we have this 20% off promotion running back at CarEdge.com, now is the time to take advantage of this. If you are thinking about leasing, just click on car buying services right there and work with our team. We've got folks that are lease experts, which, to be clear, leasing is not terribly complex, but it certainly can be confusing. There are a lot of salespeople that work at dealerships that don't even understand all that goes into a lease. We've done a lot of videos. Obviously, I didn't know what a lease was until my dad taught me, and we've spent years working on educating folks about it. So let us help you on the lease side. And Dad, Justin, over on the CarEdge.com/guides part of the website, he's got a new article coming out soon this afternoon. He compiled all of the different lease offers from all the manufacturers. He picked the best one from each OEM, and there are some pretty aggressive ones in here, Dad. Acura with the ADX, Alfa Romeo with the Tonale, the Audi Q4 e-tron. And you can be leasing a 2025 Audi Q4 e-tron for under $300 a month for 24 months. You got to put $42.44 down at signing, but still, like, there are some really Buick here, Dad, $349 a month for 39 months, $0 down. So, folks, we're going to have this out on the CarEdge.com/guides part of the website this afternoon, or in the newsletter if you subscribe to that. Justin compiled all the latest. I mean, the Kia Niro EV, Dad, $109 a month.
You know, and it's like, how do you say no to paying $109 a month to have use of a vehicle? Okay, you don't own it, but my goodness gracious, it was only $109 a month. The average new car payment today is $750 a month based on 70.2 month term. Okay, compare that to $109 a month for 24 months. You tell me, if you're a payment buyer, which one of those makes the most sense to you? Now, there will be people who say, but you never own it. You're just renting the car. Here's the premise I want most people to try to accept.
Sure.
Most people never keep their cars the full term of the loan. They trade them in before the loan gets paid off.
I'm sure you saw that throughout your career all the time.
Oh, constantly. So what does that mean? That means that most people who are buying their car never really own it. What they own is a car payment. The bank owns the title to that vehicle until you've paid it off. So the premise for most people is, if you will accept the fact that you're always going to have a car payment, whether you own it or lease it doesn't matter, because you're just always going to have a car payment. What's the cheapest way to get a cheaper car payment? You lease the damn thing.
I do want to call out here though, from Dan. He's spot on. $109 a month after putting $4,000 down. I personally believe people should put as little down as possible on leases. We agree. We agree, but let's do the math really quickly here, Dad. It was $4,000 down, and let me double check. Let me pull it back up.
It was a 24-month lease, wasn't it?
So what's that going to do from a payment perspective? About
so $40? Take 1,000 and divide it by 24 months.
All right, 1 second.
And so how much does
41?
How much is it?
41.
Okay, 41. So 4 times 4, that's $164. Add that to the 109. So you're $273 a month with zero down. Okay, $273 a month for 2 years with zero down. That is still $500 a month less than the average new car payment today. Think about that.
And also, Dad, Space making the point, zero due at signing, very different than zero down. So that's what it's saying here. So what is the difference between that? Help educate me here.
Well, what they're saying is that in order to get that payment, you have to put $39.99 down plus tax, title, and license. Okay, so what are the license fees in your state for that vehicle? What would the tax be? So $39.99 might turn into $5,000 or $4,500 or $4,600.
Got it.
But still, it's a cheap ass payment.
I mean, especially compared to average. Average, again, like you were claiming before, $500 more. So yeah, it's like materially different, or different ball games, which is important. And also, I think, Dad, what we anticipate, Jerry was the one that called it out, but I think it's what we anticipate, and quite frankly, what those auto industry execs who were interviewed, who are pessimistic about the future of the car market, expect the manufacturers to do too. We're going to see a ton of incentives around leasing to get people into payments that they can feel comfortable with. Dad, we've got a question here. What happens when you return a lease with significantly less mileage than what is expected? Is the residual value higher?
No, the residual value was set, whether it has those miles that you were allowed or less. Now, with some leasing companies, for instance, BMW Mini, if you don't utilize all the miles and you turn it back in with considerably less miles than what you were allowed, you get a credit for some of those unused miles that go towards your next vehicle, whether you lease it or finance it through BMW or Mini. And other manufacturers might not have that program. I mean, I know in my case, my lease is based on 10,000 miles a year. Well, I don't drive anywhere near 10,000 miles a year. But what I do know is that at the end of 3 years, when I have 6,000 or 7,000 miles on the car, that it will be worth significantly more than what my $20,000 residual would be.
So you have the option, to be clear, at the end of the lease, unless it's one of these leases from like Tesla or some Ford leases, you will have the option to purchase the vehicle at the predetermined residual value, which, to your point, Dad, is based on them anticipating you driving X number of miles per year. And if you don't,
30,000 miles. So I'll be able to buy my car for like $20,000, and they were expecting it to have 30,000 miles on it. It might have 6,000 or 7,000 miles on it. How much more would that car be worth because it has 24,000 miles less on it than it should? Oh, I would say $3,000 or $4,000. So would it make sense for a person like me to buy that vehicle at the end of the lease and be able to pick up $4,000? Oh, I'm pretty sure it would. Yeah.
Definitely. What a fascinating, it's like we're connecting the dots. Again, we started the show with the headline over on Automotive News, which is really, I mean, again, it's not coming from me, it's coming from the industry. I'll share it on the screen one more time. It says it right here. Franchise dealership executives' confidence in future auto industry falls amid economic tariff concerns. And then we're tying this into the work that Justin, which I think I just got a message from him, Dad. Let's do it all together here. CarEdge.com/guides. Okay, I went to that website. I'm going to refresh. There it is. Labor Day lease deals, the best offers from every automaker 2025. Folks, please go check that out. CarEdge.com/guides, and it'll pop right up. It then ties directly into, so how does the industry respond when there's hardship, pessimism? We got to put deals out there. What are deals to consumers? We all know we always negotiate the out the door price, things like that. A lot of folks don't do that. And what do they look at? The monthly payment. Lease deals, folks. Lease deals. So here you go.
May I share one thing with everybody today? I went for my annual Medicare WellCare visit, to make sure that I can still function as a human being. And part of that visit is they give me there's two segments. One segment is, hey, they give you a circle and say, draw a clock, and then draw 10 minutes after 11. Okay, did that. I wanted to ask, do you want it analog or digital? And the other was, at the beginning, they gave me 3 words that you have to remember. And the 3 words were village, kitchen, and baby. And in previous years, one of the words was always bananas. And she said, well, I'm not giving you bananas this year. I said, okay. So she gave me the 3 words. And like 10 minutes later, she said, well, what were the 3 words? I said, the 3 words are, the village people are in the kitchen feeding bananas to the baby.
I'm glad you're sharp, man. I'm glad because, no one's beaten the odds yet. We all, unfortunately, it's a sad thought, but we all die eventually. But you're still kicking, man. You're crushing it, Dad.
Well, and then this was the nurse, and then the doctor came in, and at a certain point, he told me that he called me elderly. And I was so pissed at him. I go, I am so far from I'll let you know when I'm elderly, buddy. Okay? Because I remembered my people, my village people, my kitchen, my baby, my bananas. I know how to draw that friggin' clock. Oh, and I know how to make you laugh. And he goes, yeah, you do. Thank you for that.
Oh, folks, if we can help you out with anything, yeah, right on. Ray is correct. Love seeing my dad happy and healthy. If we can help you out with anything, folks, 20% off CarEdge Insights and our car buying services. Say goodbye to car dealer games forever. You can check out our AI agent as well. Play around with that back on the CarEdge website. Pops, let's call it a show for today. Yeah, let's bring the energy tomorrow, August.
Well, yeah, I might. Tomorrow. I could be floating away tomorrow for all I know. Literally, they have the beaches are open. The ocean is closed. You're not allowed to go into the ocean, but the beaches are open. The waves are supposed to, at some point between Thursday and Friday, be upwards of 12 to 18 foot waves here at the Jersey Shore, which are huge for here. So what beaches there are could all be washed out to sea come Saturday. They have
12 to 18 is nuts for where you live. Yes,
tell me about it.
Because typically they're like 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah, well, no, they're talking 12 to 18. They're talking coastal flooding. So, move your car to high ground. If you can find high ground where we are, that would be a miracle. Yeah, it could be really interesting.
No swimming for you today, Pops.
No swimming I can swim in the pool here at the condo, but there literally is no swimming in the ocean. They have, and pretty much that's from like Florida to New York. Okay, it's gonna be bad here, unfortunately.
Well, thank goodness the hurricane's not making landfall near you.
Oh my God! Yeah, this is with the damn thing going out to sea, but it is just riling up the ocean terribly, and but Sunday it'll probably be gorgeous here. There won't be any beach, but it'll be gorgeous.
We'll be back tomorrow, folks. Love you, Dad.
Love you too, handsome. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with me and my craziness today.